Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Bucket Ponds, and today we are building a beautiful planted 5-gallon guppy nursery. I'll show you the full build and we'll do a walkthrough of the first 5 days of the aquarium. So this tank represents the future of Bucket Ponds, the culmination of our ideas and our experience coming together. I want to include everything that we've learned in here, and I want to make it all natural, beautiful aquarium, a quote-unquote clean tank. So yeah, we're starting with a 5-gallon drink dispenser from Walmart, and it's basically a big water jug. Has a nice lid. I have drilled a hole in it, and we will include an air line right there. That air line is the key to success in this aquarium because we're going to have a sponge filter. The tank also has a valve on the bottom, which is meant for dispensing drinks, but we're going to use that as a fast water change valve or a spout or a faucet, even a faucet. Yeah. So I'm piling up a bunch of lava rock behind it so that plants and things won't get sucked in there. We're going to add some marble chunks as well, mostly for decor and because it can help to balance our pH. If the water gets a little acidic, a little bit of marble will dissolve and it will go back towards 6.8 or 7, somewhere around there. The marble will not dissolve unless the water becomes acidic, so it's really cool. But that spout, yeah, that's going to be our fast water change method. I can turn that spout on. Water will immediately flood from the bottom of the tank out into, a cup or a bucket or whatever. And I can just turn the valve off and add clean water to the top. We have a really excellent, easy way to change water. I don't anticipate needing many water changes in this tank, but it is nice to do so every so often. Now I am adding water from a few different sources. We're using water from deep underground, as well as some water from several well-established fish tanks. We're also using samples from our nano aquariums, our jars and live cultures. So here I am using some hornwort. This is hornwort. It's from the Bag of Bugs Nano Aquarium. I have a link to that build in the description below. Now, the Bag of Bugs is actually a product from phillipsfishworks.com. I just love the name. I had to borrow it a little bit for our nano aquarium. They're not a sponsor, but you should check out their website. Just look at this beautiful hornwort. The jar that it's growing in is not very large, so this stuff is like growing strands upwards of 3 feet long, and it's growing very, very quickly. So I love this hornwort. It's very healthy. It's doing great. And I'm excited about the potential this plant has because it grows so quickly. It's avidly, sucking up any plant food it can find, turning that into more tissue, more hornwort. And that's very useful, yeah, because it can compete with our green water algae. If you guys know the channel, you'll know that I have a very aggressive strain of green water algae, and it's hard to stop. It'll get into a tank and turn the water bright green very quickly. But I've noticed in the tanks that I've added hornwort to, it is able to beat back the green water algae, to compete with it, and to succeed, offering a more clear water quality. The green water won't hurt anything, but it's not the prettiest stuff to look at, So, yeah, I'm hoping this hornwort here will help to stop our green water algae situation. And I'm hoping it will also act a bit like a net and capture little particles in the water column. Our Nutella macroalgae does much the same, but it is very hard to work with. It's very different, and yeah, it's hard to controllably, reliably add to a jar aquarium. We'll say that. But this hornwort is completely different, and it's very easy to work with. Now, hornwort can float, or you can plant it. I choose to plant it slightly, just a little bit, down in the rocks. Now, I am adding live cultures here from several different jar aquariums. These are between 1 to 3 years old, and I'm also going to add some bladder snails. We're adding bladder snails from every single population that I have. We have bladder snails from Florida, from our friend Dina at Psycho Plant Lady. Those bladder snails are breeding, isolated in their own jar, and so we took a few of them. We have some from the Bag of Bugs Nano Aquarium as well. And we have some wild descendants of wild-caught parents that I've kept in isolation, as well as our own mixed breed mutt and bladder snails that we have here at Bucket Ponds. So we're going to add all these guys together, and we're also going to add a few of our small ram's horn snails that we got from Dina as well. Now these tiny ram's horns, I don't know much about them, and I only have gotten them to lay eggs recently. So I'm excited to finally start a second container for them to live in. It's important to have backups. Always have backups, so you don't lose a species if something goes wrong. So I'm also adding frog bit and duckweed, as well as this very old jar aquarium, which is teeming with life. All of these tubifex worms, these ostracods, these diving beetles, they've all been living in this jar for a few years now, I think. I've added some new species here and there. But yeah, this jar is very well established. It has bacteria that has been processing ammonia for a long time. So it's a nice addition to this tank. And I know what you're saying, like, why are you going to dirty this up? You're ruining this beautiful project that you built. Nope, don't worry about it. This is very important. A lot of our macrofauna, our microfauna, they enjoy detritus and mulm and dirt. And you cannot run a clean tank without them, at least not in the ways that I do. I prefer a bioactive aquarium. That's what I want. That's the goal, is a clean yet bioactive tank. And that's what we're shooting for. So don't worry too much about all these little particles and this stuff floating around. It will settle to the bottom and we'll be fine. So day 2, here we are. And we are throwing the airline into the lid. Very excited, you guys. I don't usually run air pumps in my jars and jugs, but I have been lately, and that's for a good reason. It's because I want to start working the guppies back into our projects. You guys haven't seen the guppies much lately, and that's because their home tank is pretty dirty, pretty messy. So I am slowly working them in to other projects and bringing them into the forefront here on Bucket Ponds. I'm very excited to have them included in our projects once again. They've been with us breeding for years. I just don't show their tank very much. You members, you might have seen some of that stuff if you're part of the YouTube membership. And here we are. The tank has settled nicely. It looks great. We have all of our microfauna in here. We have our hornwort, our duckweed, and our frog bit, as well as a piece of dayflower that fell in here. Now, I know what you're thinking about the duckweed. Oh, it's a problem. I hate it, blah, blah, blah. Well, with an air pump, a strong air pump in a jar of this shape, the duckweed loses all of its negative aspects. It cannot block the water surface. It cannot cut off the oxygen. And instead, it becomes purely beneficial. It's an extra source of food for the aquarium. It's an extra source of filtration. And it looks cool. The same thing with the frog bit. These fast-growing plants will work alongside our hornwort and create a tank that cannot grow green algae. No green water algae. Our worms will help to break down any loose food or waste. Our snails will clean the glass. And our guppies will eat everything they can find. So this turns our tank not just from a jar aquarium, not a nano tank, it's a full-blown ecosystem. Our fish are the predators, and they are voracious. They've had detritus worms in the past, and though their tank is messy, it is bioactive. So I have added 3 guppies in here, a trio of 2 males and 1 female. In retrospect, I should have added 2 females, but I didn't want to have too many fry in here before I was ready to handle them. These are my bleeding heart mixed guppy endlers, mixed with red fancy tail guppies. I purchased them about 5 years ago, and they're just so easy to raise, so easy to take care of. I love them to death. Lately, I'm looking into crossing them with some swamp guppies. I think that'd be really cool. Now, if you're doing this at home, do not put guppies in a jar like this unless you have another aquarium that you can take the extra guppies. They will have babies, they will grow up, and you will have an overpopulated tank very quickly. This can cause all sorts of bad things to happen, including crashing the tank itself. Now you'll notice that I did not cycle this aquarium, and that's because we didn't have to. I've used plants and water samples from well-established aquariums, very old jar aquariums, full of beneficial bacteria. The best of the best beneficial bacteria, I like to think. And they're doing well. So we pretty much had a cycled aquarium to start with. We just added a bunch of water and surface area to it with the stone and the new container. There's our female guppy. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I love them to death, and I'm just so happy with the tank, you guys. The backlighting looks great. I am using a automotive clamp lamp with a full spectrum light bulb hanging up behind the tank, and it does not create any heat. It's an LED, but it looks great. I think this will be plenty for these plants to grow. Over time, I will have to come through and cut a bunch of the hornwort out and use it elsewhere. Otherwise, it'll take over the tank. And I will also have to pull some guppies out of here and put them in our other aquariums. That's fine. Now, my theory about the hornwort catching little particles of dirt seems to be working. It seems to be true, as I see a lot of little specks caught in the hornwort. I don't know if that's on purpose, if it's an intentional thing, or if it's just coincidental. But I imagine our small animals, our worms and snails, will enjoy those particles of dirt and food stuck on the hornwort. Now, these guys will be acting as live food for the guppies. You'll even see the guppies here start to hunt a little bit more often. And here's another piece of hornwort. It is definitely collecting little particles of dirt. So I think that theory is proven one way or the other. For one reason or another, that hornwort is acting as a filter. It is catching dirt in the water. And here you'll see the guppies start to look around a little bit more often. They're starting to search the bottom. They are looking for worms. And I think that's really cool. The worms have a response. They move up above the water surface, and they still get knocked in there sometimes. They still go for a swim, and that's when the guppies get them. But I think that's really cool. At some point, I'd love to turn this tank into a no-feeding tank. If I could run the entire ecosystem off of algae and, micro and macro fauna, that would be really cool. We might have to feed the worms and snails with a few slices of cucumber, but I think it's a possibility. The guppies will not eat the snails, but they will kind of eat their antenna sometimes, and they will eat their eggs. So, yeah, that's one reason we included so many different exotic bladder snail individuals. It's because I wanted to trigger the breeding effect that happens when they're exposed to snails from a foreign environment. I don't have the white papers on hand to back that up with any scientific credibility, but it is out there. There's information out there about it. And I refer to that as the exotic snail effect. They know when a snail is from another tank, and they know that they're not so closely related, and they want to breed with that snail very quickly. This tank came out so beautiful, you guys. It's not quite done, though. I want to give it one more day. So day 5, coming back. And here it is. We have achieved perfection. This is it, you guys. This is the dream come true. This is a fully functional bladder snail, guppy, planted, duckweed aquarium. We got hornwort. We have frog bit. We have microbes from all of our friends. You sent me some plants and some water, some snails, and that comes with all of your bacteria, all your beneficial bacteria. It was all included in here. I am looking at setting up a P.O. box if you guys would like to send some stuff in. But I would happily, pay a couple bucks and buy some plants off you as well. If you sell plants, please let me know. If you sell microfauna, macrofauna, anything like that, please contact me on Facebook. It takes a few days for me to get back to you, but I will certainly check it out. We are thinking about adding some shrimp in here. I don't know too much about shrimp. I know more about crayfish than I know about shrimp, but they can't be too different. I think we can figure it out. But yeah, guys, we have made a beautiful aquarium. I am so in love with this tank. Oh my God, I could talk about it all day. And it might seem cruel to put guppies in here, but they have plenty of space, plenty of water. There's only a few guppies, very lightly stocked. And this tank's actually bigger than their home aquarium, where they have been living for about 5 years. I've been slowly lowering the water level in there, preparing them over generations to, adapt to life in our nano aquariums, and it seems to have worked. They seem very healthy and happy. I know people say that fish have no memories, they're really stupid, but I think they say that to remove themselves from any kind of responsibility if the fish dies. I've interacted with these guppies a lot for years now, and they recognize a person as something that brings food. They'll come up to you and look at you in the tank. They are not as stupid as, mainstream opinions might suggest. They remember roughly what time of day they get food, what side of the aquarium, all that kind of stuff. But I love this tank, you guys. I know the guppies, you can't see them too well with that backlighting, but that's okay. I'll do some more projects with them soon, or maybe I'll even reveal a few of my secret fish tanks that we don't talk about too much, and you can really see them up close. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I know the the Oasis update wasn't that great. Hopefully this makes up for it. We have the most beautiful tank I've ever built, and I just can't say enough about it. I've been posting it on my personal Facebook. I want to show people. I'm just so happy. When I first picked up this, water jug, my wife actually bought it for me as a gift. And I looked at it, I'm like, man, I can't use this. But, we did. And I love it. I love repurposing things like that. That's what bucket ponds is all about, taking a bucket and building a pond, taking a jug and building an aquarium, that kind of stuff. So thank you to my YouTube members and our Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. I have not forgotten about the t-shirt designs. They are in the works. I've just been dealing with a lot of stuff on the side, and just now getting back to where we belong, So in our next video, we will be doing a collection trip here at this beautiful location. I'll have that video up as soon as possible. Until then, you can check out my channel for more. My name is Bucket Ponds. Thank you for watching.